Have you ever been on a date? Because I have. Okay, I genuinely did not know how to open this video. So let's get into 5 dating stories, shall we? Alright, so the first one. Date number 1. I was in college and I was on a dating app called Mutual. It's specifically for Mormons. So, I used to be one. I don't know if you saw my last 2 videos. There was a guy on there, typical setup. We talked for a bit and then he asked me out on a date. Now, he said that we were gonna go grab food, but that did not happen in the slightest. So I get in his car and he says, "Hey, we're gonna go to the dentist." And I'm like, "What?" He was going to pick up his friend from the dentist. And I was like, well, okay, alrighty. I don't really know what to think about this, but we get to the dentist's office and I don't know if he had like a tooth surgery or something, but he was on a lot of pain meds and he was completely out of it. So we kind of helped him into his car. A great way to start a date. We had to drive his roommate home. This was his friend slash roommate slash I don't know. So we get home, we put him to bed. It's like we're nursing this guy. I don't know. And then nothing really happens. I just sit with this guy on the couch and he says, you want to play video games? And I'm like, no. He then proceeds to play video games for the next 45 minutes. And I'm just sitting on the couch thinking am I supposed to be watching you? I thought we were going out to eat stuff. And eventually I just go on my phone and kind of check out. And I don't know what is happening. He kind of idle chats with me and he tells me oh, I'm going on a trip for the next 2 months tomorrow. And I'm thinking why did you ask me on a date if you're going to be out of town for that long? So much time has passed that I kind of forgot why I was there in the first place. And I'm just sitting there thinking what is happening? And so he goes and he asks me are you hungry? And I forgot that we were going to go out for dinner because I'm so ADHD. And I took his question so seriously too because I'm fucking autistic. And I was like, no, I'm not hungry. I'm so stupid. And so he says, okay, I'll just drive you home. What was this date? Oh my God, it is so terrible. Yeah, I hate missing social cues, especially when I realize it after the fact. I got in his car and I'm like, oh my God, he was trying to ask me to dinner. But at the same time, he really, this date was garbage. So date number 2, I was on the dating app Mutual again, and I found a rather interesting profile. The first thing that stood out to me was that the guy said he was 7'2". 7'2". That's incredibly tall and unrealistic. I don't know why he said that. Did I buy that height? No, I did not buy that in the slightest. But this guy was so hot. Oh my God, he was so attractive. Bro was out here looking like Roderick Heffley. He was that emo type, but clean cut. It was just, oh my. I'm I need to meet this guy. Obviously, he's not 7'2" because I don't buy that in the slightest. Why are you lying about your height? Come on, it's obvious. We seemed to have a normal chat, and he asked me to go to the aquarium, which that's a pretty normal date, and hopefully it's better than the last one where he said we're gonna go out to eat, and then we just bring his roommate home from the dentist. I still don't know what the heck that was. And man, this date was a disaster. So this guy picks me up, which I don't know how I feel about getting picked up by random guys these days. I'd rather drive myself at this point. And bro looked exactly like his profile pics, and I was excited because I thought I could make some kind of connection with someone I was actually attracted to for once. The first thing this guy says to me is, "I bet you realized I'm not 7'2". And I'm yeah, bro, you're my height. I don't really know why men get so insecure about height. As long as you're an inch taller than me, I'm fine with it. I'm 5'4", so I'm already short. And man, this is ridiculous. That one line really set the tone for this whole date. This guy was full of insecurities, and I couldn't get him to shut up about them. And it's sad because I was really excited to go to the aquarium. I love the aquarium. I like seeing sharks and little fishies and jellyfish. But he was yeah, I'm only taking you on a date because for a class assignment, I need to bring someone. So I'm okay, why did you tell me that? All right. Things are not looking good from there. And next, he drops this bomb on me. He says, I bet you already think that I'm not a real man. And I'm just like, whoa, buddy, slow down. I never said anything like that. What are you talking about? He kept talking about his dad and how his dad wants him to be a masculine man, and he just isn't that. And I'm like, where? Trauma dump? What is happening? I thought we were on a date. This guy should not have been on a dating app. He clearly had way too many insecurities, and it was the whole conversation. Just, I'm not manly enough. I'm not man enough. And I'm like, bro, we're on a date driving to an aquarium. You need to relax. And when we get to the aquarium, it's not any better. He's walking ahead of me. I don't know, maybe he thought I was just unattractive or something, but he was treating me really terribly. And he would not speak to me the entire time we were at the aquarium. So I don't know if he just didn't like me or if he was nervous. I don't know, but it was a disaster. He dropped me off and then never spoke to me again. So yeah, your girl was pretty confused. Dating is really rough for me. All right, dating story number 3. This one's not really a date, but let's get into it. So I date with this pretty nice looking gentleman on Mutual, again, the Mormon dating app. We start chatting and things seem to be going pretty well, but all of a sudden this guy starts trauma dumping on me. I saw in his profile that he was divorced, so I asked about that. And he had this whole giant, long story about, his crazy wife and whatnot. And he started getting into, like, his sex life with me. And I'm like, why are you telling me this? And he was giving me, like, intense, detailed stories about their first time and all this stuff. And I'm like, ew, I don't want to hear about that. And so he asked me, like, hey, are you a virgin? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, good, because that's what really matters. And I'm like, okay. Clearly, this guy was like on a hunt to find a new wife as soon as possible, but I really don't think he shouldn't have been on a dating app because he did not care one iota about who I was at all. He just only cared that if I was a virgin or not. I was trying to ask him questions about various things, and it always kind of turned back into the ex-wife drama, and I'm like, are you using me as like a therapist? And so for a while I did not like feed into that. I'm like, I wonder if he's gonna ask me any questions about myself, and then he never did, and then he deleted me. So girly pops out there, you don't need to be some man's therapist, bro. You go get a therapist. All right, I'm on here to find someone, not on here to be your mommy that you can cry on. Like, no. I'm kind of traumatized by what he said to me. He explained every little detail about their sex life, and I don't think I'll ever forget what he told me. All right, this is the last one, date number 4. I have more dating stories. It's just this video is getting a little long. Now, this one is an actual date, rather a few dates, which is pretty rare for me. I don't typically go on more than one date because it always ends in disaster for me. So I matched with this guy on Mutual, and he was training to become a cop. It's different what I'm used to. I was used to dating students, like college students, but I was intrigued. My friend wanted to go to a rave that weekend, and I thought that would be a perfect way to break the ice, see if this guy can have some fun. I don't go to clubs that often, but every once in a while, I want to do something fun like that. So he agrees to come. He picks me up in his truck, and we start talking. We explain our dating histories to each other, typical stuff. And we park in a parking lot while we're doing this. And this guy is like the jumpiest guy I've ever met. Someone slams their car door in the parking lot and he acts like we're under attack. He gets his gun out like bro was getting PTSD from his cop training or something. And I'm just like, whoa, dude, someone just slammed their car door, like relax. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, we are in a parking garage. What do you expect? So we get to the club and he's not allowed to bring his gun in, so he has to take it back to the car. And the whole time we're at this dance club, like, it's a pretty safe area, but he's on edge because he can't have his gun. And, like, I get it, but also, like, I don't know. And this club is pumping. Like, I don't like to go to most clubs because the music sucks. I'm just gonna be real. It's not my type, but this one was playing some absolute bangers. And I just wanted to dance, and he just goes and he sits down and he doesn't really want to engage much. So that sucked. But luckily, my friends were there, so we were just dancing, vibing. Like, ever try to convince someone to have fun? Because it's not the greatest feeling and it's kind of exhausting. So we sit down, and after about like 30 minutes, he starts feeling the vibe. He starts getting a little looser, starts dancing with me. So I think, like, all right, here we go. We got something going. Like, let's keep this happening. And because he did that, I was like, I should give this guy another chance. I don't normally go to clubs, so we should do something that's, different for the next date. So since it's Halloween, I tell him that we should go to a haunted house, and he agrees. So I'm pretty excited. This guy seems nice. So we get to the haunted house, and this is where things go south again. I don't know what it is about this guy, but I feel like he kept acting like a scared puppy constantly, which is weird because he's trained to be a cop, which is also weird because apparently he was too smart to be a cop. You have to be slightly dumb to get that job, and he was way too... Oh, it's a mess. So we get into the haunted house, and he's cowering behind me like a scared puppy, and I just... As a girl, like, it's annoying to always feel like you're the man in situations. Like, I felt like this when we were at the club. I felt like this when we're just going in a haunted house, and I was not having fun in the slightest. I was just getting more and more irritated. I know that some women like weak and submissive men, but for me, that's just not my vibe. But this guy, he also never... he would never set up a date. It would have to be my idea, which I guess that could work in a relationship, but like, I don't know. I like it when it's one person chooses the date and then maybe the next time the other person chooses. I need two people present in the relationship, not just me being the man. I can't. But yeah, it's been years since that happened, so I hope that guy is like a cop now, and maybe he's not as jumpy, but I don't know. I think training to be a cop just gave him PTSD or something. But yeah, those are my dating experiences. I don't know. I don't have like many good ones to share if I'm going to be real. But yeah, that's about it.